Hello, Miguel.
My topic was what kind of management styles that can be used. My manager is Philippe Baudequin, and he is responsible for Falk Fire Services Belgium and France. The core business of this company has been firefighting for public authorities and industrial clients. Falk has more than 100 years of experience as a fire service provider, and today Falk Fire Services operates the world's largest private firefighting company. They offer their services in airports, nuclear power plants, steel industries, and petrochemical industries. So that was a brief introduction of my manager.
Okay, thank you. My topic is what are the challenges when starting up a company. I went to Perdaan Doge BVBA. It is a family business that stands for mechanical engineering and mechanical constructions. The company is now in the hands of the second and third generation of the family. The CEO is Marc Perdaan, but he already works part-time because his two sons also works at the company. So that was my short introduction.
Okay, then over to my first questions. I asked Philippe Baudequin what his strengths and weaknesses are. He answered me that he is very open and communicative, but sometimes he is a bit too impulsive and too direct, so that can lead to some disputes or conflicts. And that's what he answered.
My first question is a very short one. I asked him what he studied, and his studies were industrial engineering mechanics.
Okay. What is one thing you like and one thing you dislike about your job is my second question. He answered that it is very varied, and he gets to learn new things and other cultures because he needs to travel a lot in his function. So that's also the thing he dislikes often, because this causes a lot of stress and often a lack of sleep because of all the traveling.
My second question was, how did you start your After Mr. Perdaan had completed his studies, he immediately started working at his father's business. He did not have to doubt. He had no doubts about that. And in the beginning, his father was a CEO, of course, but later on, he was learned and thought to be the CEO, to be the next CEO.
Then I asked him if he is a person that works the best alone or the best in team, and he answered that he, in his function, he almost works every time alone because he has to travel a lot, and if he doesn't need to travel, he works from home. Also, he has to work in team often if he has to go to the nuclear power plant in Doel, and then but in the overall he may conclude that he works the best alone.
Okay. My third question is it hard to motivate your employees, and what do you do to give them extra motivation? He answered that most people are motivated by themselves when they come to work. If not, this is usually noticed during the application or during the first weeks of work. But to motivate the employees, the company usually tries to work with the newest technologies.
Okay. Then I asked my manager if he's an introvert person or extrovert. He answered that he is mostly extrovert because he likes to be among people and to get to learn new people. This is important in his job. You have to because he has to discuss a lot with opponents and constantly look for new opportunities in other countries or so on.
Okay. My next question was, if there is a problem or discussion between two employees, how do you solve it? A problem between two employees must be addressed as quickly as possible, or there will be problems throughout the whole company. It once happened that two good friends at the company went on a weekend with their families, but one of the two men started an affair with the other man's wife. So this of course caused a fierce fight at the company, and the other employees started to choose a side, so it brings a lot of difficulties. So after long thought and deliberation, the man with the least years of service was fired. But the advice was that you should certainly respond as quickly as possible.
Well, this brings us a bit to the different management styles, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask my manager if he preferred an authoritarian management style or an extroverted management style. His answer was that a manager needs to combine these two a little bit, because you have to listen a lot to your employees and don't make decisions just by yourself, but often you have to take them alone because it's your responsibility, and others won't take the blame if you make a wrong decision.
That's true. My next question was, is it difficult to compete with your competitors? It was a very simple question, because the company didn't really have competition, because every company has its own brand and different things they do. So my company, Perdaan, is really working on supply, which is very positive asset.
Okay. Then I asked him if he's any different at home than he is at work, and if yes, in what way. He said that there isn't much difference, except if he talks to his children, he's a bit more authoritarian than he is at his work. But that isn't abnormal, I think. So
no.
It isn't.
My next question was, is it difficult to make the final decision? Like you said before, it is always made by the CEO. He's responsible. If he puts his signature, he's responsible. But of course, he has his two sons who most of the time helps him with decisions. But he also has the final word to make the decision.
Then I asked him what he thought of a laissez-faire leadership. This is leadership where you just let your colleagues do what they want and how they want to do it. Is it good for people to have more confidence in themselves, or can this lead to a problem? His answer was that he didn't think that this is the best way to lead a company. But as I said, this can be good for the confidence of the people, as they have more responsibility. But in overall, he don't think this is the way you can lead a company.
Yeah, I think I agree in that. My next question was, what are the main problems and challenges you face every day? He said there are problems and challenges every day, in large and small forms. Some problems are a conflict with a customer. If machines are sent to a customer abroad and it turns out not to work, they have to send an employee to the country of the customer. This costs money, of course, that the customer sometimes tries to put in the shoes of the company, even though it's not stated in the contract. Another problem is now that the company uses the latest technologies, a lot is already automatic. You should not do a lot of work on such a machine. You just start it up and adjust some parameters. So a lot of employees are doing nothing in a way. This must of course be taken care of. They are currently trying to compensate for this by having the employees carry out measurements, tests on finished parts.
I asked him if he thought of himself that he is a good people manager, and in what way it shows off. He thinks that he is a good people manager because he never had any complaints about this topic. He said that it shows off in the way people react to him when they see him after a long time. Also, if he had to sack someone, they always said that they love to work for him and that they understand the situation he is in, because mainly it isn't something you want as a manager to sack people, because it hurts people.
Yeah, of course.
That's not something you want.
Okay, my next question is what are the biggest challenges when starting up a company? He told me it's certainly not an 8 to 5 job as a starting CEO, but also as an experienced one. You work mostly from 8 to 5 on your desk, but if you come home, the work doesn't stop. Also, make clear communication to your partner. If you want to make a career, then you must make that clear to your partner. This is because you will often be very busy with your job, and she better knows it in advance. This is otherwise this definitely leads. Otherwise, this leads to a problem afterwards. But this, of course, does not mean that you can completely neglect your family. If you make a career, you must find a balance between the two.
Okay. I asked him a bit rare question on what his opinion is about burnouts and how that people can prevent them. He said that this was a very delicate topic these days, but he thinks that it is easily to prevent if the manager knows it as quick as possible, and that the specific person can react to new things in time. So it is preventable, he said.
Okay. My last question is, do you think of any other big challenges or problems that a CEO might face during his career? Yes, because it is a family business. The whole family is somehow dependent on the income of the company. Because the pensions of a self-employed person are very low. The company must, of course, compensate for this. With this responsibility, he has sometimes made decisions in which he has been too careful. This with the fear of making the company suffer great losses and thus no longer be able to take care of all the family members.
Well, my last question is how that he made sure that he doesn't make any hasty decisions, so it's a bit similar. He said that it is important to look at all the alternatives and to rate them and ask a lot of opinions to your employees to make sure that you make the right decision.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's it, and I would like to thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.